Hi, after I installed my Sense, after I did the unboxing, I ran outside and immediately started plugging it in. That was 9 o'clock at night, and there just wasn't any light for me to show you the install. Plus, I think if you want to see the install, there are videos on YouTube for that. So I'm not necessarily wanting to show you that. I did want to give you sort of a tour about how it looks and caveats that you may be curious about once you, as you're doing the install. So let's take a quick look and let me show you what things I learned from doing the install. Alright, so we're here in my backyard, and this is my electrical panel, and the install's already done. I just took the covers off so I could show you sort of how it all goes together. As you can see, the Sense box sits in the bottom, and it has a antenna cord, which I punched out this block here. There's several, if you can see them, quarter-size holes here in the bottom. If you hit them with a hammer from the bottom, they'll eventually break out. And then they've included this little bracket that lets you hook the antenna in. And then the antenna just hangs out the bottom, and that connects to your wireless. So as far as that part, pretty straightforward. On the other side, one of the wires here on this side connects to some clamps, and mine go underneath this divider to the spot. Bringing electricity to my house comes through this tube, and this steel pipe just comes up out of the ground, and here's where you find my two 120 volt legs of my 240 volt service that comes into my house. So that's it. One of the things that I learned is that this label on the Sense has to be pointing in the direction that electricity comes in. And that's important, because if you put it on backwards, then you get something different. So if you notice, the electricity goes up until it eventually reaches my meter, and then it comes over into this half of the panel. But coming into my house is here, so the front of the label has to be, in this case, facing down, because it comes in from this pipe, and you may have to trace your stuff around until you figure that out, but that's how it's supposed to go. I did that wrong. In the dark, at 9 o'clock at night in the middle of the winter, I did that wrong. I put them on backwards, and they still detected electricity, and I still got some results. I just didn't get the results I was looking for. Now, as you can see, my solar comes in through this tube. Hi, Cambria. Hi, everybody. All right, so solar comes in through this tube. It comes down and cuts over into this breaker panel, and I can turn everything off from here. There's a I'll just show you. There's a pair of breakers in there, and I am able to turn off photovoltaic power coming into my house just by flipping these breakers. That pipes up into this panel, which you can take a look if you like. Actually, I don't think it'll let me do that while it's on. It's got a bracket right there that stops it from opening it while it's on. Alright, I won't be able to show you that, but big lever, right? I can turn off power there as well. That will disconnect my system from the rest of my house. So if in the middle of the summer I need to, I don't know, re-roof or something, I could separate the two systems. Anyway, that comes into this main panel, and that's where I have these labels, or I have these secondary clamps, the ones for solar. And if you notice, the electricity comes in from the right through that tube. And these I also had on backwards. Don't put them on backwards. You got to figure out which way electricity is coming in. This is solar, and it's coming in from the top of my house, but it's coming in from that direction. So my labels need to be on right. And as you can see, they do like a curly. Like everybody's got a honk when I'm making a video. It's like no video I ever do if there's not a honk. Jerks. Anyway, here we go. So the labels are on because solar energy comes into my panel from the right. So I have them hooked up right. I did this part wrong too. I figured it out because the app told me that I had it wrong when I tried to okay the solar portion. All right, so that's the second part. Now, there's a connector back here for connecting the power, and that runs in this gray wire right here, and it runs up to a completely empty breaker. Now, if you don't have an empty breaker, you can see I've got room for a couple more empty breakers, but there's a breaker space there, and I basically took a photograph of this and notice it's a GE brand breaker, and it basically slides in at an angle and then clips down. So you fold it in like this until it touches that back rail where my finger's pointing, and then you clip it. Well, you fold it. I guess it goes the other way. It comes in this way, touches that, and pivots down. I'd show you, but I'd have to disconnect it. I'm not gonna. But this one's brand new, and I went to Lowe's and I said, "Hey, give me a breaker," and they said, "What kind of panel do you have?" And I said, "Durr, I don't know." And so I had to come back and I took a picture, and guess what? It's a GE. It'd be better if you were gonna buy one. Go out to your panel and figure out what kind of circuits you have, so that you can go in. I'll bet if you showed them a picture, they would be able to say, "Yeah, I know what you need," and take you right to a section in a row. They gave me this one. They had places in there where they could show me how it clipped in. It was really straightforward, and the two wires just clip into these little brackets here on the side. If you bought one, you'd be able to look in at this angle right here, look down in there, and be able to see. And then the ground just gets plugged into this ground bar here along the back that you sort of can't see. There's my finger. All right, so I just took the ground wire and found an open slot along here and folded it in. You can see there's several places where the screws don't have anything that they're holding down. Anyway, once I did all that, it made a chiming noise, and the chiming noise told me, "Hey, I'm happy. Go ahead and box it up." And so I did. I have this cover, two covers, one for each section, and I put it all back together and closed the door. And so when it comes time to doing the install, you may need. Now, these are special. This one's special in that it is a 240 volt connector. These smaller ones, they only connect to one of the two legs up here. There's two different electrical legs connecting in, and let's see if I can get a finger in there. That's one, and that's the other. And so when you buy these brackets, they either connect to two legs or they only connect to one. And these smaller ones down here, they're intended to be 120 volt one side. So that's a single pole 15 amp circuit that I'm looking at right there, and a 30 amp circuit further down. And some of them, like this big one, are intended for like the stove. And so they're double pole 240 amp circuits, meaning that they connect to both legs, not just one. In order for the Sense to work, it's got to connect to both wires, or both legs of the circuit. And so you buy a 240 volt double pole connector, in that this bracket right here, when it sends electricity out, it's sending it one down each leg. That's what I know. If there's more to know, put it in the comments, because I don't claim to be an electrician. I just claim to be somebody that's willing to risk his life to plug in his own Sense controller. Anyway, it's plugged in and operating. In a second, I'll show you some video of how the app looks. I'll be right with you. Okay, this is not intended to be a comprehensive review of the app. Instead, just a couple observations that I made. So this is what it looks like on an iPad, and I just have it sitting in my lap. So the choice that I made right now is this hamburger menu up in the corner has a option for now, or to talk about usage. Hey, look, it's me. So I chose now because I want to see real time what's happening, and I can go back in time by sliding that. What you're looking at is solar, right? So far I have generating, well, at 512 I was generating 231 watts. It gets better depending on cloud cover. I've had some pretty sunny time. Let's go. Well, if I pinch this, it will put the minutes closer together so that ooh, look at that. All right, so it auto adjusts based on the wattage so that everything fits on the page. I'm just gonna make it fit. So now you can sure tell when my kids get home from school. There's this window of time where I'm generating all this extra electricity. That's the yellow. Okay, so 10:15 or so in the morning is when I made the crossover today. I started making more electricity than I was using, because you can see the red, which is my electricity usage down here. It indicates the number of watts that I've used, and over here it indicates how many watts I'm generating. So as you can see now, all of this is being adjusted based on this line right here. So it's 10:40 a.m. and let's go back a little. It's 10:13 in the morning. I have 510 watts that I'm generating from the solar panels, and I'm using 481. So right in there somewhere, I'm starting to cross over, and it becomes official right somewhere in there that I am starting to use less, because people go to school, other people are, my wife's sometimes up late with the kids, so she's probably napping at that time, and so the likelihood that there'll be a lot of power generation. And then right here at 10:30, an interesting thing happens. I start generating more electricity than I'm the electricity I'm using just drops right off. I still have a bunch of phantom power things like my DVR and my Comcast router, for example, that are always on, that are using power, but I'm generating enough solar power that mostly disappears, and it stays that way for a good chunk of time. There's even some time around noon there where, look, I'm generating 2200 watts of power. Anyway, it fluctuates throughout the day, and it's graphically representing that to me. In the summertime, my system is a 6.5 kilowatt system, meaning that in the middle of a sunny day in July, I should be producing 6,500 watts of power on a sunny day. So these numbers will change dramatically. Of course, I also have an AC unit that is likely to pull a portion of that back out. But here we are in February, so we'll look at the February numbers. This video is getting kind of long, so perhaps a more comprehensive review on another video. But The advantage of the purpose of this system is to detect devices. It's supposed to be able to detect signatures that are tied to different fridges and washer and dryer and stove and microwave, and I can pick out some of those patterns myself when I look at the now option and I start seeing some of those patterns. I can pick out the dryer. When the dryer starts later today, I'll say, hey, that's a dryer, or that's a microwave, and I can, just by looking, I can see a rippled pattern that makes them up. And so this is really cool technology. It's not finished yet, but I feel like I'm a partner with them in that I'm helping them build the database that one day anyone who wants to can plug this into their house and it will automatically tell them how much power they're using and from where. So while it's not perfected yet, I really am glad to be participating. And that's all the time we have. I'll see you guys on the next video.